So we have a question about the best, most effective way to get rid of scorpions in our area. So there are a lot of very common methods. There are some uncommon methods. Something that we want to do is ensure that your house is properly sealed, and that's true of any pest. However, you want to make sure that your weather stripping, or your what's called a bug guard, bug sweep, or door guard, door sweep, that is in place and secure. The weather stripping around the door, front door, back door, sliding glass door, the windows, those are all potential entry points, as well as the weep holes on the exterior of the home. When BUGCO Pest Control provides what's known as exclusion work, that's determining what the entry points are to the house and how to keep such things as scorpions out. So with that, we can do an inspection, determine any potential entry points, and then offer a proposal or even just advice, recommendations on what you yourself can do to make sure that the house is excluded or that it's properly sealed. Now, with scorpions, we could use anything from glue boards at the entry points or the sides of the garage, because no garage, unfortunately, is ever going to be perfectly sealed. That's just a fact of the way that they're designed and built. So there are things that we can do to reduce the numbers of them trying to get the garage, breed, multiply, find a nice little warm space out of the heat or rain. But with scorpions, we can treat them where they live. So we offer yard treatments, backpack foggings, things that help to address their numbers where they're coming from. So if you can reduce the numbers of the populations breeding in the yard or on the exterior of your home, you could effectively reduce the numbers getting into the home. Now, it's what you're treating with, how you're treating, the delivery method. Those all have roles and factors into whether or not you're going to be doing it effectively. Do they live up high? Do they live in the ground? Do they burrow? Where are you treating? Are you using the correct chemical to treat? So with scorpions, the reason that it's so important is because of how dangerous they can be. So the striped back scorpion is the most commonly found in the state of Texas, but the fact that scorpions do sting can cause injury to children, small animals, and of course, while not necessarily deadly, very uncomfortable. So it is a nuisance pest in our area. So if you treat where they're breeding, if you treat in the yard and the surrounding area, and if you can effectively reduce the number getting into the home, you can have what's known as a perimeter of protection. So between general pest control, yard treatments, and a few other different treatment options, you can, with routine maintenance, keep their numbers down over time. So the trick, especially with scorpions, is routine maintenance, because all chemicals are designed to degrade over time. So if you maintain your perimeter of protection by having routine maintenance, then you could effectively reduce the numbers long term. Keep in mind, it's pest control, it's not 100% elimination. So you want to be able to, over time, control, reduce, and regulate the numbers of the pest in and around the area. Now, on that note, we can reduce the number and control the amount of scorpions on your property. One thing we can't do is take into consideration the surrounding properties or any neighboring properties and any conditions that they may have that harbor or help to breed the scorpions. So we could reduce the number and control the number on your property, but your neighbor to your left, neighbor to your right, and any adjoining neighbors, they may have wood piles, they may have trees, they may have heavy foliage that act as the perfect breeding site. So where your property's been treated, the scorpions could possibly be walking over the chemical, and you see a live scorpion and you think, hey, this treatment's not effective. However, what you don't realize is that it is walking through that chemical at that time, and it's just a matter of time before that scorpion's dead. So we cannot reduce or control every single one. Routine maintenance is the key with any pest, but especially with scorpions, because they are arachnids, or in the family, same family as spiders. Arachnids, scorpions and spiders react a little bit differently to the chemical. They're a little bit more resilient. So you may see them a little bit more long-term than you would say something like ants or fleas. Those are a little bit more easy to get rid of because they react differently. So with scorpions and spiders, we want to treat specifically for those, because while they're all pests, there's a difference between ants and arachnids. They're insects, yes, but they're totally different families. So with arachnids, specifically spiders and scorpions in our area, we do have very distinct treatment methods for them, as opposed to treatment methods for ants, fleas, mosquitoes. All these different pests, they're exactly that. They're different, so we have to have a different treatment method for them. There's no magic wand that any specialist can just walk in with and poof, taking care of all of your insects or spiders, ants, fleas, silverfish, earwigs. We have different chemicals, different treatment methods, different delivery methods. So with these different treatment methods for such things as spiders, ants, silverfish, earwigs, but in this case scorpions, we want to ensure that your perimeter of protection is maintained, whether that's just with the routine general pest control along the foundation of the home, or if you wanted to extend that barrier out and treat the entire yard. Either way, we do have methods in which we can control and regulate their numbers, but keeping in mind that we can't take care of the surrounding properties or take into consideration any conducive conditions such as brush piles, heavy foliage, or areas that may aid in the breeding of the scorpions, allowing them onto your property, because they're just going to be looking for a new place to live. Once they get crowded over at the neighbor's property, they're going to be looking for something comfortable, which probably means your backyard. And I'm sure you don't want to share your outdoor living space this summer with the scorpions coming over from any neighboring properties. So that's a consideration that you want to make is, one, where are they coming from? Two, any of the conditions on your property that you can address. Remove any wood piles, debris, heavy foliage, or areas that they may be hiding.